In the world of digital marketing, SEO can be extremely misunderstood. So in some cases, it's difficult to get your boss to be convinced of why you need SEO. So let's talk about that in today's video. SEO can be seen by a lot of managers and CEOs of voodoo magic, and it's a case of if you rank, you rank, if you don't, you don't. But you do have the ability to change what appears on Google search results and to appear for keywords that are lucrative to your industry. One of the best SEO benefits straight away is that you can actually guide your customers to your website. Now, the mistake that a lot of people make is they actually only try and go after keywords that are what we call bottom of funnel keywords or transactional intent keywords. They don't actually focus on educational information for their actual ideal audience. So if, for example, you offer accounting software as the product or service that you're all about, well, then you might not think it actually makes a lot of relevancy to talk about accounting overall. But if you have a look at the keyword research, there is an opportunity there to guide your audience to your website as they move further through the funnel, eventually getting to the transactional intent and purchasing and using your particular accounting software. Now, this method specifically also allows you to solidify your brand recognition in your niche, to become the king or queen of your particular industry. And this goes back to what I mentioned a moment ago as the mistake that a lot of people make, where they only go after bottom of funnel or transactional intent keywords. That's the same as approaching someone on the street and saying, buy our product. They don't know who you are. You haven't built any trust with them yet. They don't know you. They don't potentially like you at this stage. They don't trust you. So there's a bit of work that is involved before they get to that stage. And that work usually comes in the form of educational content. Now, we also can sometimes refer to this as a blog post. Now, another issue that a lot of people have with the terminology of a blog is they assume that that means having their CEO talk about what they had for their breakfast, what they're planning to do for the day, stuff that doesn't really make sense and you probably think wouldn't be too important to a lot of people. But actually a blog or an article is there for educational purposes to help guide your particular ideal audience, perhaps through a problem they're having at the moment, by giving them the solution, or by at least offering them something that they can download where you can then capture their email address and then they're in your funnel, and then you can guide them through the solutions that you have for them of the problems that they're facing. And as this person goes more through your funnel, because of the educational pieces that you have that allows you to solidify your expertise in your brand, in your niche, well, that means that eventually when it does come to the stage where they do need accounting software and they're at the stage where they're ready to purchase some accounting software, who do you think they're going to go after? It's going to be your software that they're going to want to use because they already know, like, and trust you. They've seen the expertise that you can provide to them. Now, this also kind of goes hand in hand with the next benefit I want to talk about, which is it actually increases your conversions. Many independent SEO studies have proven that SEO as an organic marketing traffic solution actually gets better conversion rates than the likes of PPC or social or whatever it may be, that SEO actually provides further increases in conversions. Now, again, one of the reasons for this is because if you are making educational content for every particular piece of your funnel that somebody's already at, or every single stage of your funnel, well, again, for every single keyword that they actually search when they're at different stages through their customer journey, your website appears again and again and again. So not only does it help you to show up for a lot more keywords, but your conversions are also then going to increase. Now, I did mention social there a moment ago, so let's actually dive into the benefit that actually SEO provides for social media. Not a lot of people actually think of this particular solution, and I'm not sure why, because if you're creating educational content that is supposed to go to your audience, depending on what different stage of the funnel they're at, you can actually then share that particular piece of content on your social media. So you have all of a sudden a domino effect of different content pieces in your different marketing channels that SEO has now provided for you. And the 100% best benefit of SEO is that SEO continues to pay dividends over time. Think of it this way. If you're trying to rank for the keyword accounting software, if you had a particular marketing budget and you spent that marketing budget on pay-per-click advertising for when someone searches the keyword accounting software that you show up, don't get me wrong, PPC and paid ads, they work very, very well if they're set up correctly. They can give you incredible conversions and an incredible ROI. But when you're finished with that marketing budget, all of a sudden you're not ranking and your ad isn't showing up anymore for that particular keyword. Whereas with SEO, if you put in the time and optimize the page correctly, even when that particular section of your budget is gone, there's a chance that you're still ranking on page 1 for the term accounting software, as well as multiple other keywords that you've sprinkled throughout the page also. So over time, SEO actually continues to pay dividends and provide further return on investment. Now, if it is a case of you're trying to convince your boss, return on investment is the wording that they're going to want to hear. Now, if you have convinced them, and then all of a sudden it's your particular job, your role in the company to set up everything with SEO, you might be thinking, but isn't SEO complicated to set up? Well, that depends on how you go about it. Now, there's lots of different ways that you can do SEO, and I can guarantee if you talk to 10 different SEO professionals, they'll all tell you a different method. However, what I would highly recommend is to not dive headfirst into it, but do extensive research first to see, first of all, what kind of keywords you may want to appear for, what competitors are already appearing for that keyword, what their pages look like, what kind of keywords they're using on the page, what titles and descriptions they're using, what heading tags, so on and so forth. If you've got the research part of it down, well then there's a pretty good chance that your SEO won't have to be too complicated. Now, if it is a case that you're in a high competitive keyword industry, you might also think to yourself, well, is SEO actually worth my time? As I mentioned a moment ago, SEO will continue to pay dividends. I will be honest, SEO does take longer to set up and to see results from any other digital marketing source. However, like we mentioned also, you can put that particular resources, in this case your time and effort, into PPC campaigns, which can be set up like that and can also actually give you conversions and make you money immediately as well. But on the other side of the coin, when SEO is done correctly, it will continue to pay dividends over time. And one of the other questions that we always get is, well, what if I don't implement SEO? What's the worst that could happen? And to be honest, again, it depends on your industry and how competitive the keywords are that you're trying to rank for. If it's a case of you don't currently rank for them and you'd rather focus everything on PPC or Facebook ads or whatever it may be, that's okay. But bear in mind that eventually at some stage, whenever that marketing budget is turned off for those keywords, so those PPC ads are turned off, you'll more than likely be nowhere to be found. Again, whereas if you put that particular effort into SEO, your work, your resources, and the effort that you've put in will give you results and show dividends over time also. So after learning all of this so far, now we get to the good part. How do you convince your boss that SEO is necessary for the success of the company? And the first point about this is quite controversial, to be honest, because I'm going to say you should try and predict the results. Now, having said that, if any SEO professional ever says to you, oh, we can do this in this amount of time and we'll have you at this keyword in this amount of time, I would advise to run as fast as you can, because nobody can predict the future, nobody has a crystal ball, and nobody knows, other than the people in Google, I suppose, what different updates Google are doing every single day that can make changes. There's no guarantee. So when I say predict the results, I mean give averages and be very, very conservative about where you believe this could go. And also use particular data sets like Google Search Console or Ahrefs. Now, they may not be exact numbers, but they'll give you a fair idea. The next thing to do to convince your boss about SEO is actually create a plan. So what we do anytime that someone comes to us and we actually provide what's known as the SEO starter package, part of that actually includes a 12-month plan. But that 12-month plan means that you can actually go off and essentially it's a checkbox solution where you say in month 1, we'll focus on accounting software. In month 2, we'll focus on accounting solutions or whatever it may be. But this is discovered from all your keyword research that you've previously done. But essentially, this is what you need to put together to show your boss that there's a plan in place and that there's important lucrative keywords in place that you're going after that may take some time to rank for, but again, will make a lot of sense and draw dividends in the future. Now, part of the reason that I mentioned predict the results and create a plan is because more than likely what you're going to hear is, show me the numbers, show me what's going to happen, tell me exactly how this is going to work. Now, as I mentioned, there's no exact numbers that you should be able to give. However, you can get averages from looking at different things online. Now, to be honest, we actually do a webinar all about this, of how you can try and get the best and closest solution to what your numbers should be if you were to rank for a particular keyword. Now, again, it's not an exact science and nobody will be able to provide those exact numbers for you, but just to get a rough estimate, this is extremely handy to be able to do. And the last thing to do is listen to their concerns. they may not actually have understood everything that you said. So we always try and recommend as well that you use layman's terminology, because they may be in a very, very different department in the business than you are, and they may not understand some of the terminology that you might use every single day, or you and your team might use every single day. Also, ask if they have any questions. Try and clear up any doubts at all that they have about it, because you, as a digital marketing manager, or whatever your role may be, you know how important this is, and you know that the business should be focusing on it, and you know that it's going to get great results. So that's the part that you need to get over the line. That is the goal here, that it's going to get great results. That's all that they want to hear. So I'll end the video there. I hope you got a bit of value from this particular video. I hope you're able to have a more easy, clear conversation with your boss or bosses, managers, whatever it may be in your particular industry, in your role, in the business that you work in. If you do have any further questions or comments, please leave them down below. We do our very best to reply to each and every one of them. We're always making content like this, and we release it weekly, so make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you want to see a bit more. But other than that, hopefully you got a bit of value from this video, and we'll speak again soon. Bye.